Hey, what's going on, folks? This is Dimitri back again. In this video, we're going to discuss 6 myths that people just basically have out there for some reason. And I got this email from my brokerage, Fidelity, and there's no sponsorship or anything, but it kind of gave me a good perspective on what things are and just might be misconceptions about or thoughts about the myths that can be like actually detrimental for the establishment of the wealth and just being wealthy and becoming wealthy and things like that. So those are really practical steps. Kudos to them, Fidelity Brokerage, that doing this send-outs, and I wanted to get those, see what's going on there, and take my give my take on those myths that they share with me and a lot of other people. So in any case, let's get into it. So I got myth number 1, and it says it's not worth saving one contributing. So if I'm contributing like a small amount to my savings account, well, that's completely wrong. So because there are a few things that are involved in the whole like saving process, and it also depends on what kind of things people savings to and invest to. There are various places like that you can invest. However, just based on my previous video, and if you didn't watch it, like I'll link it here, but it's a good understanding on there about investment, about getting out there and making sure that there are you are protected against inflation. So inflation will be for some, as far as I remember myself, into being into action of investing in finance pretty much all my life. So there was a thing, inflation, and basically it's always been there, and I need to protect myself. So how do you do that? It's either you either purchase specific products like invest or anything like that with the specific, like I think treasury bonds and things like that, or there are various actionable things that you can take and invest in those, like stock market or real estate or things like that, because the prices also change on those, and that's another like good hedge against inflation. But anyway, small amounts will constitute like a stability, or not stability but consistency, and obviously depending on the tool that will increase. Especially what I noticed is that you can take advantage of, like, let's say if it's a stock market, like in general, you can partake of that differentiation. So if you look at the graph, it's usually going up. It's there was some issues like COVID then and all that, but in general it goes like this and then it still goes up, right? So in any case, you can partake of that differentiation of the price. So let's say you're like, oh, you missed like a high point, so you can next month, or like a few in a week, whatever your strategy might be, you can purchase that and that, so and the lower price, so you basically can partake of that price change. So right, and that's about it. So you got it. So it still makes, so that myth is completely wrong, right? And you gotta like invest. The small amounts will make a huge difference. I got astonished like how it can make a huge differences. Myth number 2. So I got my notebook, right? As you already noticed, stock market is too risky to invest. So that's what I got. But here, so because yes, but there are situations that we can't really say like 100% this is risky or 100% this is not risky. So there are companies out there that they pretty much established, and they're like really acting as a go-to really at this point of everything, not like like services or things like that. In terms of stock market in general being risky, if it depends on what we're looking at. So if we considering like money management funds, mutual funds, right? So those are pretty safe because there are specific people who are really have the sole purpose of their sort of like job existence there is that they manage the money. Obviously they trade, and it's gonna be there, and there are like billions of dollars in there, so it's all right, I think. In that sense. However, you got to be keep in mind, so there are things that can influence stock market, especially if you want to think about the market, Mr. Market. I like that analogy, which is another topic for another time, but a reference to it was an interesting book there. But in any case, so think of it as a like really emotional entity, if you will, right? So like it acts upon some things, wars or anything like that, rumors of wars, it changes in logistics, things like that. That's a lot of that. In any case, so it's the statement of it's risky and I cannot invest in there. Yeah, it's not quite right, because you got there's a lot of things that needs to be considered, and that statement is not going to be correct. So it is risky, I'm give you that, but there are tools that could be okay, like safely, like safe, not 100%, because there's nothing 100% like that, but fairly safe, if you will. So myth number 3, it's I'm young and there's no need to save. Well, that is like completely wrong, because this is so, oh my god, because like this is like when you start, the earliest you start, and that's for the parents too, like guys, if you like parents out there, I don't have like kids, but yo, if you start investing for them, if you start like setting aside like, hey, this is for my kid, whatever, if you purchase a property for your kid, like in terms of like rental, oh my god, this is a killer. That would be like, wow, that's a war chest right there. And man, worst case scenario, they just can move in there and live there, or they save it, or they sell it, or whatever. That's amazing tool. So you guys can like either do that, or you can buy like real estate, and that just thing is there, and then you can sell it anyway. So but you can also set aside money and then just invest in this, invest in that sense. Another aspect you can do is that if you start younger, you will get much better results, because and obviously it's not to discourage like older folk, but if you get into the game earlier, especially like, dude, seriously, right now it's amazing, because you can like really literally invest $1 literally, and you will be okay. Well, not okay, but like at least it's something, right? So $1 is like, man, it's $1, at least for United States, right? So different currencies, different exchanges and things like that, but there are tools out there, especially within the United States, as we're talking here, but in your area, in your market, and I'm going to be also doing some other videos as well. But if you in the market here, or you're watching it within the United States, and or in your market you have like stock markets or like real estate, for example, like the real estate is everywhere. So if you're able to buy those and invest in and rent those out, man, that's amazing. So earlier you start, the better, because that's look at this as a snowball effect, and it's just amazing, because that statement is wrong. And myth number 4 is no way of knowing how much I need to save for retirement, or how much money I will need in the retirement. Obviously, that's a question of, so basically, I don't know how much money I will need in the future or in the retirement. Well, as you start saving, that myth kind of gets dissolved as well. As you start saving, you will get into a budget. Well, it's not super fun word, but it will be a financial hygiene, if you will. I like that term. And yeah, so you will understand how much you need to invest, how much you need to spend for your life, just basically, basic necessities. You don't need to, at some point, I came to a realization that, I don't need to prove myself to people and show myself as like, hey, I got money, and things like that. So as long as I can provide for myself and for my family, right? So, do benevolence, whatever, like, just do the service, contribute to whatever. So, right, like charities and stuff, churches, where I go to and stuff like that. So as long as I can do those things, well, so like church contributing, well, it depends on the priorities, obviously, but if I can take care of myself as well as the like do all those things, depending on your personal things. But in any case, in my personal area, um, contributing, donating, and then providing for myself, things like that. The rest is seriously, it's like you get to a point you're like, oh, I don't really need that, because I have a car, so yeah, I can drive it, whatever. So I don't need to prove myself to anybody, and that's the point, right? So that when you get there, you will get understanding like, hey, how much do I need? And then at some point, it depends on your appetite, right? So if you go higher, you will go higher. If you don't care, you don't care, right? So, or at this point, or whatever point you might be in your life. So and that's the basically the bottom of it. So there is a way of knowing it, because at the point when you determine what you want and what you need and what you're like going for, yeah, that's how it's gonna be up to there. Yeah, if you want more, you can do more. It doesn't matter, right? So in any case, myth number 5: all debt is all debt is bad. Yeah, that's not necessarily true, because a lot of things in the case of investing, or not investing, but like purchasing the stuff, especially in the business. If you're starting a business, man, I tell you that. I'll tell you what, that's a hard to start a business without capital, right? So you got to do research development, you got to do a lot of stuff, you got to do invest in a lot of product, and like something gonna not work, most of the stuff not gonna work. So marketing especially, oh man, marketing is just a money burner. So, and yeah, I tried a couple of enterprises, and yeah, my marketing was a money burner. So it was like a lot of stuff, and anyway, yeah, not all the debt is bad. So right, because why? Because you can use that capital to create more capital. So in a sense, like let's say you take the money and then you invest in something, and then it gives you back. It gives back to you. Extra, like back and extra, right? So that's the whole purpose of people who invest, or at least point money managers and things like that. They take that money, they use it, and then they get it back, the whole amount plus extra, right? So that's the whole purpose of the investment, that they take the money and then they give back the whole thing, and then they give extra. So that's pretty much what is happening. It's just the statement of all debt is bad. I would say all debt that is not giving you back, or like, if you will, if you use it for like leisure purposes, like, oh yeah, you know what, I'm gonna take a loan and all the way I go, and whatever, that's it, or whatever happens. No, that's not the case, because that's basically overspending, spending it for unnecessary things, and then it's just like you spend the money and then you owe people, and that's just you putting yourself into a situation where you cannot like fulfill that. However, if you are able to get the money, generate the money with money, and then you give back money, so people just literally like, I get calls every day in terms of like, hey, take this loan, hey, this is the offer, this is the offer, this is our, because people want you to they see you as a provider, not provider, but like a generator, if you will, or at least a person who can make a difference with that money, instead of like just go ahead and spend it. No. So that's the difference, right? So that's not all the debt is bad. If the debt is working for you, gives you more, gives you back the same and more, man, that's just a killer. So that's myth is also wrong. So how to, and well, the last one is credit cards should be avoided. Not necessarily, because I use the credit card as, first of all, it's a simple snapshot, or like first basic snapshot before a credit organization saying like, hey, I understand what the credit is, and at least if you give me money, I will pay you back. So if you use the credit card as like a debit card, if you will, not as, but like the approach is that like, hey, you coming in, and every twice a month, like I do it twice a month, because for the on the safe side, you pay those, like outstanding balance. If you do that, man, you can use some really good perks in those credit cards. And I tell you what, there is a lot of good cashback options, like points, whatever you want to call it. Like it's just rewards, whatever. I did a lot of good stuff, and in terms of I got a lot of good stuff like in payback, like just the percentages, things like that. So it's just like it's great, and it's you can look at it as like a discount, if you will. Plus, if you make money on that, so it's just great. So in any case, they like, and be careful about credit cards in terms of like taking it, and then you gotta pay it back because within a month, otherwise you will be you will get a kick with the like crazy amount of percentage and interest, so you will not notice that. It will be like a small amount or whatever, but it's tough. However, if you make it right, and then basically I look at it as like, hey, if I have a ability like to maintain that, I'm gonna use it, and it's just it rewards your responsibility, if you will. Think of it that way. So I like that. So, and yeah, think of it that way. So in all those 6 myths, right? So not worth investing, stock market is crazy, I'm young, no way of knowing anything, debt is bad, so credit card is bad, everything is bad, it's just crazy. So it sounds like like really a sad situation there, where you don't really like, you're not gonna expand yourself or go after something. So with all that said, those myths is just stopper of your success, if you will, because you gotta overcome those things, and like, hey dude, or whatever, like, yeah, hey, it is worth saving, because what is gonna happen? So you saving, those money start generating, those money start working. So at the end of the day, it's you're getting the pushback, the comeback with extra, and that's amazing. So not only that, but it puts your family, yourself, whoever, like if you're just yourself or your family, so it puts you in a better financial position, where what, instead of going begging or anything, it's like, it's a lot of crazy situation, and yes, life is hard, but you're able to just like, hey, here's this, yeah, I can go and buy my groceries and I'm done with it, and we good, right? So that's about it, really. So that's where you you want to determine that, and you want to cancel all that, and like in terms of assess that situation. If you think about that, think about it, and hey, is this really a thing that stops me from going after something, or investing in something, or putting myself into a position of better financial situation, right? So that's where you want to think and consider yourself. So thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. So I like that because I do like those myths, and because like it's kind of puts us in a good perspective, and we can assess more better where we at and what we doing, and how we can tackle them. Like these little things, this is really what is stopping us. It's right there, it's right here. So right, I mean, yeah, there are external things, a lot of different people, like, and man, YouTube across the world, right? So a lot of people doing a lot of stuff and watching a lot of stuff, but these little things right here is right here. All this that I mentioned here, it's right here, right? So it's in between your ears, right? So you gotta tackle that, and when you tackle that, man, you're good, right? So anyway, thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe down below, and see you guys next time. Cheers. Bye bye.